Okay, first of all, just want to welcome everyone to the March DNewTech event. This is a pretty cool space we have here. But let's want to say thank you to Invest Detroit. Let's give them a round of applause. So if you guys are parking between spot 26 versus 29, don't be surprised if your car is towed later on. But besides that, it should be okay. Again, we're here for March, the DNewTech, and I don't know if you guys, I know I see a lot of new faces here. So pretty much, my name is Tan. Clark here is our videographer. We usually stream this live. Not this week, just because my buddy Rayle, he's actually the one that usually streams this all online. But we're going to take this image and then video and clip, and then we're going to upload it afterward. But this week, this month, what we want to do is that we typically, if you guys aren't out here, we do about 4 to 5 presenters, and then we have our main host kind of open the event. So for this event is Invest Detroit. I want to say thank you to Memarden Dober. He's pretty much my hidden brother-in-law. Pretty much, he's a real cool cat. You get to know him. Yeah. And then we want to say thanks to Patty. Patty's also one of the VP here, and then Sam, and then we got Shay Yoon out here from Invest Detroit. So let's give them a round of applause. So this is the way it works. Pretty much, DNewTech was started back in 2010. We wanted to give entrepreneurs an opportunity to pitch their ideas. Typically, we usually we're entrepreneurs. We're working at Starbucks, McDonald's, Panera Bread but now we've got places that are around Detroit that actually you can now, it's not only a working space that you can go out to, but also now you can actually, come out to events like this, meetups like this, so that you can pitch their ideas. And everyone knows that, you got the most, you might think you have the most beautiful baby out there, but when you start presenting it, you might have a different view after that. With that, we typically have 4 to 5 presenters pitching for 5 minutes. They get 5 minutes to present their idea or their startup, and then we give them 5 minutes of Q&A. Our audience get to drill them with questions that they haven't thought of. And that's the whole idea. This is all a learning environment, not only for the entrepreneurs, but also for the members as well. And then what we also do is that we typically go from one place to another. And the reason why we do that is, like I said, there's a lot of place for us to kind of get knowledge and work with others. And so Tech Town, Invest Detroit, we have OU Inc. that we're going to be out there next month. So these are all places that you can get resources and help, as well as kind of ping your ideas with some experienced people. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Memarden, and Memarden's going to talk a little bit more about Invest Detroit.
Hey, welcome everyone. This is actually one of the first events we've hosted in this space. We moved in mid-December, and so we're really excited to have you guys here. It really wasn't hard for Tan to convince us to have DNewTech here. All he had to do was talk to my wife, his sister, and it was pretty much a done deal. But really, really happy to host you guys. It's really our first community event, and we hope to do a lot more of that here in this space. Let me give you just kind of a quick background on Invest Detroit. For those that aren't familiar, we are really, think of it as a family of funds, about $250 million in capital. We really provide financing for almost every type of business throughout its life cycle. We provide financing to real estate going on in the city of Detroit, different real estate projects, including this building, which we financed the construction of, and then decided to put a satellite office in this building so that we could be closer to some more entrepreneurial ventures. We also provide commercial lending for more established companies that are doing business in the city of Detroit. And then we also have our venture team, Invest Detroit Ventures, that provides startup capital to startup companies. All of the people on the Invest Detroit Ventures team, we're all located in this space. And these are the programs that we manage. So 2 different funds that we manage. We have a fund called the First Step Fund that is really providing pre-seed capital very early stage to young companies. We have Detroit Innovate, our venture fund that provides more significant amounts of capital to really startup and growing technology ventures. And then on the bottom there, you'll see we have 3 programs that we manage as well. It's kind of our way of giving back to the community and getting involved to help build our pipeline for investments and really strengthen the entrepreneurial community in southeastern Michigan. So Hacker Fellows is a program that we run where we really get computer science talent and put them in fellowships in startup companies for a 1-year fellowship. Hey Maria. We have Accelerate Michigan. That's a business plan competition that we run that provides almost $1 million in prizes to startup companies each year. And then we have Power Moves that we partner with to run here in Detroit that is really another business plan competition specifically focused on minority entrepreneurs. So those are really the 5 different areas of focus of the Invest Detroit Ventures team, and that all happens here in this facility here. Want to give you guys just a few logistical information. First of all, help yourself to pizza, soda, whatever during the presentations. Bathrooms, if you need bathrooms, head out the hallway, make a left, and they're right there. Guest Wi-Fi is Detroit 313 exclamation point. All right. Did I miss anything? Well, our team, I think Ton introduced Patty, June, Sam, and me. So happy to talk more with you guys. All right. Thanks for being here.
Okay, so just to get started, and just go ahead, we'll bring up the first presenter, Eric. Is Eric here? And Sam, you got the presentation? So what usually happens is that, again, we give you 5 minutes, and pretty much we stop you on the dot, just so that way we can test you practice your pitch. But for the most part, we'll stop you at 5 minutes, and then we'll turn it over for Q&A.
My name is Eric, and I'm here with Sultant. So we are bringing big data to small businesses. So what we found, kind of looking around, basically small business owners lack basically the time and financial acumen to really understand and dig into the financial statements in a meaningful way. And at the same time, or they lack the money to hire a consultant to figure it out, which is it's a big deal because financial statements are the language of business, and without being able to understand those, small business owners don't really stand a chance of figuring out what's going on in their markets. So our solution is a cloud-based software service platform that offers small business owners intuitive visualizations, meaningful insights, and actionable recommendations that are on demand, easily digestible, and cost effective. The idea is that we help small businesses turn their data into dollars. We look at the market, what we've basically seen is that about $17 billion will be spent this year on business intelligence and analytics software in the US. About $15 billion will be spent on small business cloud-based financial services tools in the US. 78% of small business owners will fully adapt to cloud-based computing by 2020, and there's about a 40% growth rate for small business cloud-based services. So it's a huge market, and it's growing at a very, very fast rate. If you look at the market size, there are about 7.4 million small businesses in the US that generate about $32 trillion and employ about 116 million people. That's about 48% of all people that are employed. As we dig a little deeper, you look at small businesses with 100 or less employees, it's still about 5.6 million small businesses, about $8 trillion in revenue, and about 40 million people employed. When you get down to our subset, which are basically small businesses that have under 100 employees that are in the industries of retail, professional services, real estate, food services, and manufacturing. Industries where small business owners are very hands-on and have less time to actually step back and look at their financials and their strategy and have to focus more on actually doing things day to day. It's still a pretty big market, about 2.4 million, $3 trillion in revenue, and about 18 million people employed. So what we've created was Sultant. This right here is our executive dashboard. Gives you a quick insight into how you're doing as far as income and profitability, looking at the economy, showing you trends over time as well as your quick grade, help you understand, hey, how's my business doing and how does it stack up? We dig in a little further, you'll be able to dig into your revenue and see your trends over time. A little hard to see in this picture, but if you look down to the bottom right, there's a bunch of tips here around how do you try to increase your score. As you hover over these data points, it explains what they are and how they move. You can dig into your costs here and understand those a little better. We do profitability, and there's a couple other tabs as well. And really the way that it works is our business model is all around a recurring revenue software as a service model. So for about $29.95 a month, small business owners have full access to the tool. And when you look at the market, it's about 0.03% of the average annual revenue for these businesses that we're targeting. So it's not a ton of money, but it's a ton of value, a ton of insight they can drive this product. We look at our competition, there's basically 4 main quadrants kind of in the space that we're playing in. There's small business to enterprise, there's accounting to performance management. And really where we play is in this upper right-hand quadrant, in the small business performance management, helping them to not just keep track of their data, but to understand what their data is saying and to improve their business performance based on that. So our competitive advantage. First thing is we're by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. A lot of our other competitors are by techies who are trying to build a tech product rather than entrepreneurs who are trying to help and serve other entrepreneurs. We're designed for small business owners. This idea is not to be used by accountants, it's to be used by the owners themselves, in their hands, in their day-to-day. Simple and intuitive UX UI, really making it easy and simple for these business owners to get and derive value. We're built on financial statements. This is the language of business. We're not building off your bank statements, we're building off your financials, off of where you're actually going to keep track of all of your information, your P&L and your balance sheet, and hopefully from there we can derive a ton of value. Price for small businesses. Some of our competitors are $1,000 a month. It's way too expensive for most small business owners. We're priced at a really competitive price, and we're API driven. So we're pulling directly from the QuickBooks API, so the information is seamlessly added. There's no issue with figuring out how to get the information uploaded. Our team is my partner, actually based in New Jersey. We both graduated from Princeton. His background is in mechanical engineering, and I'm in econ. We have a developer out of New York, and we have our designer out of Richmond, one of my really good friends. And so far, we've raised about $50K from a friends and family round to help us get the first round of development together. We have a pretty cool team of advisors, and by May 1st, we're hoping to launch the beta version of this product. So, yeah, that's it.
Go ahead with questions.
Yes.
You require QuickBooks?
For now, we do. So we're going to actually send it to a couple other platforms to waive FreshBooks and Xero over time. But for right now, QuickBooks is, I think, 85% of the market share. So it's kind of made sense to start there and then dig in deeper into the other parts as we move forward.
How would e-commerce business benefit from
Yeah, so the idea for an e-commerce business would really be not so much looking at the products you're selling yet, eventually we're going to get there. What we're looking at is really those high-level metrics. So what are your margins on your products overall? Are you moving enough product in a given month to actually cover your expenses? Are you moving the right products? Looking at things like over time, are you improving your margin? Are your margins like diminishing? And how does that affect your business, and what can you do to improve it? So it's really all about looking at those high-level metrics and helping you over time just to think a little smarter about your business. All right, I think I saw the hand in the back first, and then I'll come over here, and then I'll go there, and I'll go there.
Have you thought about any just native CRM integrating like Salesforce or Nutshell?
Yes, so we've thought a bit about a couple of integrations down the road. One being like CRMs, one actually being performance management for like employees. Imagine trying to get to a certain size, becomes a really interesting data point. We've also thought about adding in just banks information. There's a couple other that we've thought about, but those are kind of the big ones where we're like, yeah, those are good places to start, because getting more of that data allows us to add more color, more richness to the information.
So my question is more on the, I guess, the software side. So a lot of software that's out there right now, the challenge you have is with your bank statements, and the software can't tell the difference between certain things. So if I go to Walmart to purchase groceries versus Walmart to purchase office stuff, you can't tell the difference. So are you saying that your software is going to be intuitive enough to be able to, because you said you're going to be able to tell me what products to sell. I kind of question that, because now I have to absolutely know what I've sold, where I actually bought it, how much I bought it for, and if I actually bought that particular product.
Yeah. So the beauty of your accounting information is it's as meticulous as you are. So the idea is, as you're putting this information into your QuickBooks, if you're categorizing it at a level like that, really easy for us to do. The information's there, we're pulling it in, we're analyzing it, quick and simple. If not, what we're going to end up offering is actually a service to help you clean it up.
So you're going with the assumption the business owner wants to be that.
If you want to be that detailed, we can get you that detail. If you only want high level, if you're looking at just like profit and loss, and you're looking at your fixed costs and your variable costs, and looking at your tax expense, trying to figure out how those move, we can do that as well. So it's kind of, it's up to how clean your data is, and we're going to eventually offer a service where we can help you clean it up to make sure you can get to a point that you're confident with.
So you've gotten Intuit integration, right?
Yes.
So are you part of the Intuit partner network? Have you looked into getting into their marketing?
Not yet. The only reason why is because you actually have to have a product that meets those security standards first. So the product will be built to those standards, then we have to apply and go through that process. But that's definitely one of the objectives, to get into that marketplace, because of the fact that it's really free marketing. Small business owners are looking for products to use, and if we're not there, we're losing space and losing money.
What do you need as of today?
What do I need?
What's your ask?
What's your ask?
So my ask is we could use a little more money, because right now I'm working this part-time. So that would be one thing that I'd love to do. Another thing is I'd really love another marketing mind. I have a background in marketing from a startup I worked at in Richmond, doing a lot of marketing analytics, but I'd love a little more of a creative marketing mind. I understand we have certain personas and how to go after them, how to talk to them. And then you can really never have enough tech help or tech thought. Less from like a hands-on building, but more from a strategic thinking about where the product can go and what it can do. I think those are three big areas for us. Yes?
So how many months or years of data do you need? It seems like this is more established businesses. So how much historical information do you need to be able to provide value?
Yeah, I mean, it can be as short as 2 months. So basically the idea is what we're really creating is a comparison of this month versus last month. The more data you have, the better, because the insights get richer and the trends get stronger. But we could work with probably anywhere from 3 to 12 months would be like the short end. 3 wouldn't give you a ton because you can only look at the monthly view. 12 wouldn't give you the ability to look at it as a quarterly view.
What's your ideal?
Ideal would be 2 to 3 years of data would be the ideal situation. And then eventually the goal is actually to work backwards, because one of the things that we are passionate about is actually helping businesses get started. And I think part of what we're going to have a really rich set of benchmarks on how businesses interact and what certain costs should be for certain industries, and be able to create a model where you can start with us really from day one, and we help you grow to the point where you're stable and ready to use the full software.
We'll go with one more question. Anyone?
Nice job, by the way.
All right. Good job, Eric. You guys have any questions later, Eric? I mean, Eric and all the other presenters will be around here, so you're more than happy to ask them questions. And as a QuickBooks Pro user, I can tell you, I mean, as looking at needing financial reports that are easy and simple, I mean, that's always a huge need. So great. So the next presenter we have is actually Ashley. So Ashley Williams, we'll let you do the presentation and introduce yourself. And by the way, there are a couple of seats up here too, so you guys are just coming. There's like a couple of seats here, back there. Whenever you're ready.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Williams. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Rizzarr. Rizzarr is a social publishing platform that reinvents how millennials navigate life issues that they're facing. My background is that I used to be a journalist for NBC News, a station in Baltimore, as well as USA Today. And additionally, I also have suffered from issues that I'm going to be talking with you about today. So right now, millennials are facing a huge amount of issues within our society. Millennials are facing issues of depression, overwhelmness, stressfulness, more than any other demographic in our history at this time. This is critical and it is huge to be aware of. Additionally, they're also suffering from a number of issues that they're going through that add to this stress, including self-harm, gun violence, bullying, unemployment, you name it, they're dealing with it. And with these pressures of life, how are they able to actually cope with that? How are they able to build the resiliency skills needed to be able to navigate those life issues that they're facing? And in terms of the big picture, I want to actually give you an inside glimpse into what it is that millennials are facing. So you have two groups of millennials. One, you have millennials on college campuses. Right now, millennials on college campuses are facing an immense amount of time having to actually be able to see counselors on campuses. Over the last 5 years, the amount of millennials seeking counselor support has increased 5-fold. As a result, they're having to deal with everyday life issues that they're facing in silence for up to 3 to 4 weeks on their own. This is not a great idea. This is not possible. This should not be what is actually happening in this realm. Also, you have millennial workers. Because of the amount of cost for therapeutic treatment and also medications, they're in many cases having to suffer with these issues also in silence for weeks at a time. There's also stigma around these issues. They're then left to suffer with them all alone. This, again, is a critical piece and should not be something that they're having to face. I myself also suffered from self-harm and eating disorders, a number of issues, and found to be the result of having to get through them and overcoming them was journalism. And that's where Rizzarr comes in. Rizzarr is a social publishing platform that aims to collect the voices of millennials around the world in order to empower them and to positively transform their lives. We're using 4 main features in terms of this publishing platform. That includes a very cool search engine in which that will help them to navigate our platform in a very unique way and more personalized way. We're also adding in a lot of different personalization technologies that will allow them to make this navigation much seamless and simpler. Additionally, we're also putting in influencer network that will allow them to be able to support each other and allow them to be able to come together in a way that is fulfilling and empowering to their lives. And most importantly, we're putting in a social creation platform technology piece that will allow them to be able to curate feeds that really correlate with the issues that they're seeking to solve and overcome with. From being able to do this so far, we've been able to see that this has been able to help a lot of millennials with coping through life issues based on the feedback that we're getting. So far, since launching our platform in January of last year, we received over 46,000 users throughout the world. Additionally, we've been able to get on college campuses and get this into the hands of young people in order to make an impact on their lives. And we've been also to navigate this with millennial influencers. These are the 2 main ways that we really plan to scale this platform and to branch out into hitting that millennial demographic. And I also want to talk to you about our target markets. I want to point out 3 main markets that we're really excited about and hoping to really scale into. These include influencer marketing, cause-related marketing, and corporate social responsibility. And for those of you who are not aware, corporate social responsibility is basically when a brand is taking their marketing dollars and their initiatives and putting them in a way that emphasizes content that's positively impacting millennials and giving them a chance to understand how these brands are going to benefit their lives. And if you look at recent studies, most millennials will pay, 70% of millennials will pay more money to work with brands who are supporting causes that they care about. This is critical as well. And these are other ways that we plan to also go into those markets. And with that way of going with influencer marketing, we plan to work with brands in ways that allow them to connect with our content creators and allow them to engage in content creation with subscription models, as well as this content licensing impact that will allow them to do so as well. In conclusion and wrapping up, I want you to understand how critical it is that this situation gets solved and that we're able to address this for millennials and allowing them to believe that they not only can overcome their issues and build resiliency, but they can be able to empower other people just like them and create endless ripples in the world in terms of that positive change that they can create. Thank you.
Really nice job on your comprehensive presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I have 2 questions for you.
Sure.
Number 1, how did you arrive at your monthly and quarterly subscription fees?
Sure. So basically, if you look at most platforms right now that are heavy based with millennials, for example, Snapchat, the amount of rates that they're paying to work with brands sometimes can add up to be $750,000 a day just for a simple snap that will last for 24 hours. So for us, when we're talking to brands, it's more appealing to them to be on our platform because it's long lasting, and additionally, they're placing their brand onto a platform that is positive and will make their brand image even better in that connection with the millennial demographic. Sure.
My next question is regarding your 46,000 users that you've had so far. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How did you reach them, and what were they using the platform?
Sure. So initially what I wanted to do was I knew that from my advisors and talking with them, many of them have backgrounds working with companies like MySpace. We wanted to really branch into college campuses. So I developed a leadership program that allowed us to go into college campuses and place those career advertisements basically with the journalism schools. Having a background in journalism, I found that it to be very hard for young people to be able to get opportunities to write. And that actually allowed us to get a lot of different students, over 70 students who came to wanting to use our platform and to be brand ambassadors, etc. And from there, it kind of just continued to branch out further. And also the part of it being where they could build resiliency skills. And I should also point out, we recently did a market study with students at the University of Georgia and found that students were really seeing that they really would like to use our platform and that they didn't even know because of its existence that it really could help them with solving a lot of the issues that they were going through. And because of that awareness, it helped us to gain more users and to fully continue to understand what we could do in solving the issues that they're facing.
Thank you.
Sure.
So first comment, great energy.
Thank you.
Second one, on your slide, just some kind of feedback on your slides. When you're presenting to an audience, we had the one slide that had a bunch of your target market, like 12 different numbers at the top. If you're trying to get people to find impact in what your numbers are, giving them one or two numbers, maybe most is how it would go.
Okay.
When you offer that many numbers, it's hard for any of those numbers to resonate with your audience.
Okay.
So therefore, none of them mean anything.
Got it.
So my question to you is on the business model. I'm a little confused. Is it that the students are creating the content and then advertisers are paying to just be on the site? I'm not clearly on how you make money and then what the content, I'm not clear on that.
Sure. So there's two basic ways. So one, you have the influencer marketing structure, which is subscription-based, where we're basically allowing our platform to be used as a model with the SaaS software that will allow a brand to go into the platform and be able to select influencers that they would like to work with. We're going to charge them a subscription base yearly to use that, or based on what would work for them in their preference monthly, but we would like to do the yearly bit of that. Then from there, they'll be able to do their own pricing with that influencer and types of that type of content creation that they're looking to build. Now, the other one is the content licensing, which is where we'll also be able to do, I would like to do an annual model with the business for that, where they'll be able to go into a self-service SaaS application that we already have on our platform that's allowing them to access it already, and being able to put that content right on the site on their own with our approval after it's already submitted.
If I'm getting this correctly, it's kind of like media mixed with BuzzFeed mixed with public, right?
Yeah.
Or kind of like both.
I would say, so we view it as being like Facebook meets Huffington Post or Upworthy, allowing it to be more of a community base. So with Medium, you're getting a blog publishing site, but there's not really this community element in the back end or the background where you enter in. And so we would like to bridge that gap because we found that millennials really want to connect with other people just like them who are going through similar experiences.
Do you have an ask?
Yes, so our ask basically right now is that we're in the process of raising funding and also just building more knowledge around how we can build out our framework around the platform and also in terms of building out our business models as well.
With this 46,000 user base, could you reach out to them to see if there's a need for a subscription?
Yeah, well actually what we found from our recent market research study, and we could also do that with our users as well, but the students actually suggested to us to do the subscription model and that they would like to be the content creators and working with brands in that way. Because it'll also allow them to make money at the same time.
So a good question, on the revenue model, how many users do you have to get to?
Those rates, so those conversations, it hasn't been something where they've cringed at it, they've been acceptable to it.
And then they give you a number of like, okay, once you reach X number of users and
No, right now, for the model that we have, we say this is the amount that we're charging, and it's been acceptable in that sense.
What's the incentive? What's the incentive for users to post? How do you pay for users?
Yeah, so for them, mostly just like, I mean, it's just like with a regular YouTube sense, most of them like the aspect of being able to have a voice and being able to share things that they're doing and kind of building their own brand. So really it's that incentive for them.
Any more questions for Ashley? Good job. We're going to stick around at the end, and actually, the two presenters actually did it within a second. So that's kudos to you guys. That's great pitches you guys are doing. So the next one we have is Derien Stephens, and I think Derien has his own laptop, so we're going to give us a while to plug him in. At this time, I mean, while we're waiting, any announcement of any events that are coming up that anyone wants to share? Going once? Going twice? Yes.
So I'm with the Global Talent Retention Initiative, GTI, and we'll see a job there at Newport College in Dearborn, and they're always open to employers who are interested in working with highly skilled international talent. It's going to be Thursday, April 7th from 9 to 12. So if you'll look sure definitely get our number. But we're also looking for companies and organizations that are interested in connecting with the international students that we have in the universities in Southeast.
I'll also bring up DNewTech. If you haven't heard, pretty much we're like the spin-off of DNewTech. They have their events the third Tuesday every month out in the law school building in downtown Ann Arbor on the campus of U of M. They've definitely been around for almost twice as long as we have, so that's a great place to be at too. If you guys are looking for some really good pitches and companies. We're ready?
Yes, sir, we are.
It's all yours, man.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Derien Stephens. I'm the CEO and founder of WhooSaid LLC. And for the next couple minutes, I want to talk a little bit about education, modern education, that is. So, as you all know, our world is changing a lot, and we're becoming a lot more connected than we've ever been before. But that's obviously changing the way we work with each other and the way employers hire. This is a room full of entrepreneurs, so I'm sure you can all appreciate that. And the way that that's kind of being done right now is that in school, modern schools, we try to prepare our students by doing group-based learning or group projects, which we all hate, or students hate. So for a little bit, I want you all to kind of put yourselves in that frame of mind. The last time you were in school, just remember what it was like, working with other people, and see if you can kind of feel out these problems. So the problems that we discovered were real-time collaboration, accountability, and private communication. So these three things are what really make group projects difficult. There is no way for students to formally collaborate in real time together. Some people argue they use Google Docs. Some people use things like Trello, learning management systems like Blackboard or Moodle. So there's tons of options, but none of it is really cohesive, and none of it actually holds the user accountable. So you end up with one person doing the majority of the work, and then everyone gets the same grade. And that's a huge problem that a lot of people hate. Also, private communication is a big thing because picture you are one girl in a group of 6 guys, and we all need to give our phone numbers out and everything to make sure we can stay in touch with each other. So a lot of female students have reported that after a group project, the guys use that as their way in afterwards to still continue to talk to them and kind of pursue them. And so that's annoying. So what if we could actually collaborate together without having to give up that private communication? So the solution is an integrative platform that really promotes that diverse collaboration and transparency in group projects to let our teachers and everyone in our school, as well as our group, see exactly what's going on throughout the duration of the project. Now, I am by no means a UX designer, so please forgive my mock-ups, but we are going to walk through this slowly, one screen at a time. So you are now a teacher, and you are about to give out a group project. This is the platform that we call WhooSaid, and this is a very simplistic look at how the user face will go. So if we need to create a new project, we would obviously click on New Project, where we'd be able to select our class, give the project a title, select what type of project, because obviously they're all different. Some are research-based, some are written essays, some are presentations. We select our project type, the number of groups that we want, the maximum number of students in each group. We upload an individual task or a rubric that we've already created or used in the past that has our task list on it. And once we send that out, all of the students in those groups are actually notified via phone, an SMS message, and they're able to actually discuss in real time what tasks they want to do and also choose them, delegate them, set their own personal deadlines and reminders, and then you have a clear look with the live interactions we provide at who actually is doing what. And if you need to create a new group, you can select group types. Obviously, a group can be individual on one long semester project or collaborative with multiple people. Group by, this could be gender, by grade, however you would like, and then our group duration, and then we create. So let's focus on our Michigan market a bit. This is only focused on the primary school market and primary and private, public and private schools. But there's about 500,000 college students. This is between 2013 and 15 in Michigan, about 500,000 college students, and also roughly about a little over 500,000 6th through 12th grade students, and then administrators, full-time teachers, and things like that. So we believe our market value in Michigan is huge, and this actually excludes the online virtual market, trade schools, special education, continued education, and other markets we plan to penetrate. Our revenue model is very simple and flexible. It is a subscription-based model. We're actually working on this right now to see what schools are liking best as far as our active number of users, what we're going to charge by. So for some schools, a small tier might not work because they don't have 1,000 active users that would be doing group projects. So we're trying to decide now what works best for schools as far as flexibility, or if we should take a district approach and only look to sell to the entire district. So the advantage that we give over the most popular used learning management systems, which are actually Blackboard, Moodle, and Canvas. So there are no real-time group comparisons or interactions or anything like that. So you have this platform where all this data is stored and compiled, but there's actually no real value coming out of it. Mobile collaboration is something that Blackboard does offer in one of their suites. It does not come standard. It is an add-on that a school would pay a high additional fee for. Live interactive data is what we specialize in. Obviously, again, Blackboard Collaborate does give that option, but it's not very widely used because of how expensive it is. Accountability profile is where we can actually take those user performances from the past and actually build a list of how well you've done or how historically well you're known to participate in a group project. Thank you guys.
Any questions?
Is there a reason why? It seems like this would be a really good fit for students who can't be co-located to virtually co-locate.
Yeah. So that is the goal in the future. Right now we're working with schools in Detroit, specifically Central Collegiate High School and Cody High School in Osborne. So we're looking to fill it out there first with our beta, the minimum viable product we have. Test it out there and then see what we can do from there. MVP is almost done. Plan to be beta testing at Central next month.
So is the plan to replace what they're existing using, like a Blackboard, or is it plan to be added?
Yes, so we want to be integrative. So right now we want to be something they use in conjunction with the learning management system, but I believe that our value is going to cause them to shift in the future.
One of the major complaints with a system like Blackboard is the IT support and the back end.
tested Blackboard.
Have you tested rolling out the route with existing IT staff?
It's not ready yet. As soon as our MVP is ready, that will be something that we'd like to go through. So when the students are able to delegate their tasks, that is now the task that they're committed to for the duration of the project, which right now is kind of ambiguous. It's just, you're going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then we just do it. But there is no way of actually keeping track of what is happening, who's doing it, are we communicating with each other. So this is our way of doing that.
How is the task defined?
How it's confirmed through the interaction with other users. So actions have to be taken.
So it's a review.
No.
So just like a team? Like the team on their own?
No, individuals. Individuals, we get team analytics, but you also look at the individual performance. Yeah.
Why not pursue just the students themselves?
The students don't write the check, unfortunately.
But you can build a nice base.
Of course.
And it's educational.
Yes.
I mean, parents would pay their kids to be on it. So the student could be the customer base.
Well, parent is another demographic for us in the primary schools, in the lower education. But again, the parents also don't write the check. So it's really about showing the values of the institution and then having the students and parents and teachers on board.
Do you know the reason why Blackboard is the only one that offers mobile collaboration at the library?
Yeah, they have something called Blackboard Collaborate, which is the most similar thing I found what we're trying to do. It's just done very poorly and it's very expensive.
So would you be able to do it at a cheaper cost?
Absolutely. I wish I wouldn't have talked so much. I could have gotten into that.
Do you foresee potential revenue challenges? Obviously, education budgets are getting cut every day. And I imagine technology is being one of the first things, not necessarily the first thing, but just one of those things. Do you foresee potential challenges in getting a school system to pay for something like this?
Actually, no. I think that's part of figuring out how to make our revenue model flexible enough to fit each school because their needs are all different. But the amount of value that we're giving them and what they have now, I don't think there can really be a way they can turn it down if we approach them with the right flexible revenue model. So we're trying to figure it out in this little phase right now.
So how are you able to secure the first data user group?
What
those conversations like?
So I have a great relationship with Mr. Oaklander over at Central High School. He's very big on technology and helping his kids be ahead of DPS. So he's willing to take that initiative and let us go through that first trial run with his students.
So the reason why we use Google Docs was the simplicity.
Okay.
These students, when they do a collaboration, we do everything structured. What would be an advantage of this compared to the simplicity of just the easy communication and the free aspect?
Of Google Docs? Yeah, of course. So I've actually heard kind of the opposite about what you guys are just saying. I've heard of students using Google Docs and multiple people are typing in a document at one time and it all begins to delete itself. And then they end up with no project at all. So I've heard some ghost stories and I've heard some people who say that Google Docs is helpful. But I think that our platform being self-assessing is the only way that students are going to be able to hold another person accountable in their group or to be able to see the past tendencies of a person before the group even starts and say, I need to watch out for you because you've historically shown that you're a poor communicator or something like that. Can I?
Go ahead.
All
Yes,
right.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Just so you know,
Yeah.
at Delaware, I was at Delaware. We had an application called Flash by Football Science, which is a summer program, and they basically are a direct company. They do exactly what we do. Except, they work directly with the university. Get the revenue from the university and use it for the users, right for the students are free. So that kind of model, I feel like would be effective. And also, just so you're aware of the competition.
Okay.
There are a lot of students.
Can you run that name back for me?
It's called Fletch.
Fletch? Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions? And well, set.
All right.
We're
Thank
good.
you.
noticed that we have two EdTech software companies here today. So there's a third competitor here too, man. So we'll go ahead and switch over to. Are we ready? This is Ramesh, and take it away.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ramesh. Talking about Memarden, comes from Mean Garden, and we're in the educational technology space. What we're trying to solve is we're trying to provide a technology that allows teachers to use 21st century education in the classroom in a really easy way, and be able to talk in their own voice. Teachers are only begun to use technology. Boards compete with technology for students, and so this is something that they're required to do, and students are used to a very gamey environment, so they want to see that. Our solution is a web-based platform that does a few things. First thing that it does is it allows teachers to create online lessons literally in 5 to 15 minutes. Sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. So allows teachers to create online lessons literally in 5 to 15 minutes, that'd be an hour lesson, and then it takes that content and it runs it within games. So that content runs embedded within games that students like to play. So the idea is that instead of getting a content that comes from some company 2,000 miles away that has no connection with the way that the teacher presents the material, no connection with what's going on in the classroom, no ability to customize it for special ed students or students who have particular needs. This is something that can be done within 5 minutes by a teacher to create game-based content. And also, actually, we do have a project-based learning module as well that is in alpha test right now with teachers. So that's the main thing that we do. We also have an internal social network that allows teachers, parents, and students to communicate with each other. We also have very detailed reporting that allows teachers to identify what students have been doing. And it's all completely web-based, runs on smart boards, phones, tablets, and we actually have an integration with dance pads. So for special ed, and actually for anybody, active learning is a lot of fun. You can use a dance pad like a mouse to play the games, so they can be dancing around and learning. Okay, there's a number of different ways that are being used. I've got let's see if I can run these here. Oops. I don't know where I can. I've got videos on there, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to play them on here. So anyways, these are just, we were in pilot for a year while we were developing. And with this pilot, we've got a bunch of teachers and instructors around the world. This is Sandy Gibson is a teacher out of Ontario, French teacher who's been using it. He had these great quotes, sorry, I can't do his voice. But anyways, he loved the customizability and gamification of it. What he said was, I don't want to say I fell in love with first sight, but as soon as I saw that I could take my own content, stuff I was teaching in class, and put it in game format, I was sold. That was his quote. Mara is an instructor out of Stanford University. She's a marine biology instructor, and she also does online education for their gifted program. So she basically said, I've never seen any other program that takes content that a user creates, that a user just inputs, and creates lesson plans and generates game time. We have a lot of users. Oh, I've got them here. It's on the other. Okay, market is huge. I mean, we don't need to spend a lot of time on it, but it's billions already. Just if we're talking about North America, we've got users right now in North America, in Canada, U.S., Australia, England, France, South Africa. So we have a global user base. In the e-learning market, we believe we're a new segment. So There are LMSs, which are a very big area. Desire to Learn, for instance, is the #2, and Blackboard, which you heard about just recently, was #1 in that area. We don't consider these companies competitors. We integrate with them. We've been asked to integrate with them at various places, and we're able to provide content back. Content providers like Khan Academy, IXL, all sorts of things. These, again, are potentially competitors, but we also look at them as potential clients because we provide a platform that they can put their content on, and we provide gamification and assessment, which is not part of what they do. So they can take content that they already have. Okay, so I guess I'm done, and I will just, okay, I'll end on that slide, and you can ask some more questions. And my ask is on the next slide.
So there's a lot of apps that exist out there to try to gamify different questions with different content. So that I'm pretty familiar with. Can you talk a little bit about what's under the cover that allows you to create lesson plans just from inputting a few basic things in 5 minutes?
Sure. So basically what we've got is, I don't want to be technical here. So what I can tell you is that we've got an ability for a teacher to put in, so there's different types of templates. The templates can include video, audio, text, and image. And teachers put in content according to that template. So for instance, they can put in a video. They can put in 20 videos for a video lesson. And along with each of those videos, they can add assessment content with that. So there could be, for instance, if it's a video on French, there could be questions about French in there. And those French questions then are automatically compiled inside of games. So there's a dozen games we support right now. We use an API that we'll be publishing that will allow any game company to modify their games to run within our system. So that we expect to have hundreds of thousands of games. But these are real games. These are not like a little sort of thing. These are real games of all different types that students love to play right now that actually run teacher content within them as they in order for them to gain points or get to the next level. Every game is different, how that content runs inside. And from a technical point of view, we take the data that the teacher puts in, convert it into JSON, have an interface, a JSON interface that allows that content to be displayed and run within the games. Yep.
So is this at all similar to games where you play the game and all of a sudden stops and asks you a question on, or?
There's a wide variety of games. So there are some games that are like what you just said. For instance, we have games where you are in a miner trying to get out of a mine and you pick up the gold, and every time you come to a place where it branches, you're asked a question. And if you answer correctly, you get the right branch. There's other games where, for instance, I don't know if you guys have played Flappy Bird. That's a game where you move the bird across and try to hit the things. In that case, the answers are embedded within the game. So you have to avoid the wrong answer, avoid the bad creatures, collect the good things, and hit the right answer. Every game is different, the way that it's integrated in. The only difference is the teacher-created content or student-created content. Everything a teacher can do, a student can do. And right from grade 1, students have been creating lessons on our system. They create it, and then they play their own content within those games. Yep.
You mentioned the marketplace. Is that in any create games, or do you know third-party developers come in and sell their games?
Currently, we've created all of those games. That's not our long-term plan. We don't intend to be game developers. Long-term, we are publishing our API server. We are using an API server right now internally. We'll be publishing that probably toward the middle or end of this year. And then at that point in time, any game company can use it. In addition to that, we've got computer science teachers who are using it. We've asked for that for their classes, so that students can create a game that we run in there. So we're going to use that as our little test bed and have them use the API servers in advance, and then we'll go out to the companies. Yes?
So are all the games customized, or are you is there a way for teachers to go into this and say, I want to teach a French lesson on subjunctive verbs?
The content is completely teacher or user created. So there's no thing. We've got lessons on cello, on karate. We've got we call it lessons in every area of education. We've got 1,000 teachers using it right now, 250 of them paid. We've got our first school board, which is I can tell you, it's Ann Arbor Public Schools, has bought our first school board. We've just started going live, so we've been in development for about a year. We've been in pilot for about a year. We've just gone live, and now we're going to focus on marketing and sales. So we're at the point where we know we've got a product that people will buy, that school boards are interested in, and that individual teachers are interested in. So we're selling it in both directions, both to individuals and to school boards. And now we've got to move the company from a product development company into a marketing and sales company. Yes?
So you said there are two different ways. So I get the school board that potentially pay for it, but you said the teachers are paying for this as well?
Yes. So the cost is $40 that we've got right now. Cost is $40 per year per class. So at that price point, teachers find that they're able to pay for it. We've got teachers buy it everywhere, when they hear about it. So teachers are willing to pay for it. In many cases, the schools will reimbursement for it. And in other cases, teachers, a lot of passionate teachers pay a lot more than that for school supplies. Yes, correct. Should I continue? Or should I
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
So do the lesson plans drive the games? The nature of the component?
So the games are templated. So every game uses the teacher-based input in its own way, in a way that's appropriate for that game. The lesson plans themselves are independent of the games, but the teacher puts in the content that will run within the games. The lesson plans follow the standard things. So there's all of the things about how what are the skills they're gaining, what are the things, what are the common core if they're using common core. So they follow all of that type of stuff. That's at the planning level, but at the content level, the information that they put in actually generates usable content online that students can play. As games or as activities, as quizzes. They're not purely games. They include games where students can play against each other. They include non-competitive activities because some students prefer non-competitive as opposed to competitive ways. The intent is that right now games are aimed at different learning strategies. So different students have different learning styles. So we've got some games that are better for certain learning styles, some that are better for others. Student chooses which game or activity they want to use.
And the templates teachers, and then we share it with
Yes. So we have a couple of different models. So when teachers individually buy it, then they've got it, and they've got access to a loan. They can buy things off of an eBay model. So we want to be the eBay of education, so that anybody can put up the lesson. They can put a price on it. We share the revenue. That part is free. And for school boards or schools, essentially what we do is we have the ability to create sub-organizations. So we've got a hierarchical organization. The school board, for instance, would be at the top. They can create organizations based around their schools or things like all grade 6 teachers or all science teachers, however they want to do it. And then within that, they can share their lessons across it. We also have like the lesson plans and all sorts of things, descriptions around the lessons that make it easy for teachers to search and find the lessons that suit what they want.
Well, awesome. There's an advantage being last. you could go out forever. But you can stick around?
Yes.
And then
And our ask, just last thing is our ask is $1 million. We're going for a sort of, we're switching into a full marketing and sales thing. We've gotten a long way, a lot further than expected in a few months on basically very little marketing and sales funding. I think we're at the place now where we can fully focus.
And I know you're a partner with Microsoft Education, but you might want to consider their Minecraft education system.
Oh yeah. We've become a Microsoft partner. we were just won the most innovative technology in education award by the National School Boards Association in the U.S. So that's going to, there's a press release about that on March 15th that we've just been told about.
Cool. Thanks, Lee. That's coming up. I know, like I mentioned, DNewTech. Are there anything else that anyone wants to present before we kind of close it? Besides that, DNewTech, Detroit New Tech, we're going to be at OU in April, and then we're going to be at the Blackfin pub in May, and then we take June off. So come out and enjoy more pitches, all right? Thanks, everyone. And again, thank you to West Detroit. You want to say anything? Close? Okay, is there pizza? There might be pizza left.
Lots of pizza taken home.
Yeah.